Wilson-Raybould was crowned the Canadian Press Newsmaker of the Year for having quit the Trudeau cabinet amid allegations of political interference with judicial independence. It was an extraordinary coincidence given the cause of her discomfort. The SNC-Lavalin scandal came to a close yesterday with justice taking its normal course minus political meddling. SNC-Lavalin, which had been using Justin Trudeau to pressure Wilson-Raybould for a deferred prosecution deal to avoid a trial, settled its legal problems with a guilty plea to fraud and corruption and a $280 million fine. Well, let's talk about this and more with the MP herself. Jody Wilson-Raybould joins me in the studio. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Nice to have you here.
It's my pleasure.
Do you feel, when that came out, you must have felt a total vindication, didn't you?
The guilty plea?
Yeah.
Well,
and how it happened so much as routinely as a course of legal action.
Well, I felt that the justice system was allowed to do its job, and the importance of prosecutorial independence and the rule of law being upheld is something that I think we all should hold true to and uphold.
So what's the lesson in this? What's the lesson for prime ministers and for attorney generals going forward? Just let justice take its course?
Well, absolutely, and every attorney general will take notes from their director of public prosecutions and be able to take decisions or not. But the lesson for me, I think for all Canadians, and it certainly has been a conversation over the year, is that the rule of law in this country is incredibly important. The independence of the prosecution is important, and ensuring that there is no political interference with the proper functioning of the justice system. Let justice take its course, and justice was served yesterday.
It struck me and a lot of others what an incredible false alarm it was for the Prime Minister to pull and say, if we don't give them this deal, these jobs are leaving. Well, justice takes its course and the company says, well, we're still going to get contracts and all the jobs are going to stay there, minus any need for pressure.
Well, the pressure that was put out in this case, certainly I wish that had never happened, and that, again, moving back a year from now, that we had left the prosecution alone to do its job and to continue to monitor cases as prosecutors always do and determine the best course of action, which they did working with defense counsel in this case.
Hard to imagine, but say I'm Justin Trudeau and you were talking to me. What would you say to him right now after this case?
It's hard to imagine for me to be talking to Justin Trudeau too, but you know, I wish that the Prime Minister would have certainly listened to the advice that I was giving and allowed, as we've talked about, justice to take its course and this case to be concluded the way that it was determined to be appropriate by the Director of Public Prosecutions. All
right. I'm assuming that this doesn't change anything, that you're still going to stay an independent, or is a door opening for you to come back to the Liberals?
Well, I don't know if there's any door opening, but I'm truly happy to be the independent member of Parliament, the first one female elected, for the riding of Vancouver-Granville. I think there is a lot of work that we as parliamentarians can do, and having more independent voices, lifting up the veil of what happens in Ottawa and how potentially decisions are made or not made is important, and I'm going to exercise my voice as I always have.
You've got a loud voice for like Indigenous issues, and whether it's judicial reform or any other, a whole series of other Indigenous issues. How do you make that voice heard as an independent MP? Because you're kind of in the back corner.
I literally am in the back corner, but no, I mean, everybody says that every seat in the House of Commons is important. I truly believe that. I wish for many members of Parliament to exercise their more independent voices. I'm going to continue to speak up. I recognize that I have a bit of a podium to do that, and people listen. I'm really happy to be talking to you. I'm going to continue to do that, work with my constituents. You know, democratic reform is important. Working collectively on environmental issues is important. You know, we talk about justice issues. I'd love to reform mandatory minimum penalties, and Indigenous reconciliation are huge priorities.
I always thought this wasn't that much of a story. We got to ask you just to put a period to this story. You moved out of your office. There was a big hullabaloo that somehow you were digging in your heels and not going to leave your ministerial offices. You've left them, right?
I've left my MP office for another MP office, and this story about the office, I think, got a little bit carried away. When the story came out, I literally was in the process of reviewing a list of offices to move to. Certainly, offices aren't as important as issues, but I find myself in a new office 3 floors up from where I once was.
It's a better office.
With the exact same layout and a bathroom. But again, I mean, I want this office issue to be closed, and certainly my office door is always open for people to come and chat.
All right, good way to put it. Well, thanks for being Newsmaker of the Year, because you gave us a lot of news to talk about. And as a news channel, we're very happy about that.
Well,
good luck as an independent MP. I don't think you'll need it, but I'm sure you'll be very effective.
Thank you, Don. And I want to say, I know this is almost your last show. I think that you are extraordinary, and I wish you all the best in your future endeavors. So
That means a
thank
lot.
you for everything.
All right, thank you.
Thanks.